everybody. I hope you had a wonderful day, and the last few days have been great, and that you are staying safe and that you're being well. So if you've been with us on this journey, the last 7 phrases of Jesus by the 7 mighty men of the Remnant Church, we are on day 3. And today we have my son, the minister Enrique, and he's going to share with us John 19:26-27. And it reads, "When Jesus saw his mother there and the disciples with whom he loved standing nearby, he said to his mother, 'Dear woman, here is your son,' and to the disciple, 'Here is your mother.'" Let's tune in and hear what Enrique has to say.
Good day, Remnant family. Thank you for joining me here today. My name is Enrique, and I have the third day, the privilege to share the third word, the third sentence phrase that Jesus said before he died on the cross. I'm going to be reading from the book of John, chapter 19, verses 26-27. "When Jesus therefore saw his mother and the disciple whom he loved standing by, he said to his mother, 'Woman, behold your son.' Then he said to the disciple, 'Behold your mother.' And from that hour the disciple took her to his own home." Lord, I thank you for your word. And Jesus, I thank you for making that sacrifice that you did many days ago on the hill. Biblical studies and biblical scholars have come to state at the day of crucifixion of Jesus, he was of the age of 33. Studies also show that Mary would have at least been 45 years old, and the disciple that they were speaking of in the text would have been the Apostle John. Also, biblical studies show that he started ministry traveling really at the age of 30. So if he died at the age of 33 and he started at the age of 30, that's simple math for you, he had 3 years. 3 years to travel from city to city, from village to towns, from on foot, on donkey, and on boat. And he shared the gospel of his Father. In just 3 short years before his death, he had performed many and miraculous miracles. But I'm not here to talk about just Jesus. I'm here to talk about Mary. Mary, who had conceived the baby by the Holy Spirit as a young virgin. A woman who had to give birth to her firstborn in a barn, just because there was no space for her in the inns at the town of Bethlehem. She had to give birth to her firstborn, a baby that she didn't even get to name her own. But that's all okay because Mary knew who that baby's father was. She knew who Jesus would grow up to be. But isn't it funny to really think about it? Mary raising Jesus, the Son of God. Imagine, bath time. Mary yells out, "Jesus, it's time to take your bath." Jesus replies, "No." Mary replies back, "You need to go get in the tub." Jesus simply states, "Oh, it's okay. I'll go get in the tub, but I won't get in the water." I can just see Jesus there, just his arms crossed, standing on top of the water. But all laughter aside, Mary lost her son. And Jesus knew all along what was going to happen. He knew the end result of what would happen to his life. And I know it hurt him. It hurt Jesus to be on that cross and see his mother come and watch him die and breathe his last breaths. Because it's true what they say, there's nothing like your mother's love. But let me make it more clear for you. I'm not going to pretend what it's like to have my own child or to lose my own child, because I don't. But I am going to bring it a little bit closer, and I am going to be open with you. I am going to be personal with you. So I ask that you just really listen as I be honest and very front with you. You see, Mary had to lose her son and say goodbye to Jesus when he was just 33 years old. But you see, I love my mom. The reason why I chose this verse out of the others is because it really hit home to me. It really testified to a little bit into my own life. You see, I love my mother and I love her to life, and I would do anything for her, and she knows that. But At 14 years old, my mother had to say goodbye to me when I was just 14. And it wasn't just because she didn't love me or she couldn't care for me, because she could, and she loved me more than anything. It wasn't because she was a bad mom, but it's because she is the best mom. My mother had to let go of me and say goodbye because she knew it was what was best for me. So when the opportunity of having Pastor Frank care for me and take on the responsibilities as a stand-in parent, she took it and she said yes. She said goodbye then. My mother knew she was saying goodbye to let me go so my flesh could die and my future would not. That's the whole reason why my mom said bye to me when I was just 14. So that I could live on in the future and my present self could die then. I don't think you understand what I'm saying. What I'm trying to say is Mary understood that Jesus, her son, had to die because it was his flesh that was dying. She had to let the flesh that was hanging on that cross die because she knew what was coming after the death. She knew the end result. The Lord revealed to me in my personal study time for preparation for this. He said to me, it was his death that unlocked and unleashed his destiny. Fast forward a couple years, I'm 20 years old now. And after saying goodbye to my mother, I moved in with Pastor Frank and my flesh has died and I am now walking in my destiny. And God has allowed me to travel all throughout the world and traveling and just spreading his gospel and sharing the news of Christ. When Mary was crying and weeping on that day, or the day of crucifixion for Jesus, it wasn't only because her son was dying in front of her, but it was also because she knew that something was coming greater after his death. She knew that death is not where the destiny ended, but it was just where it started. Because if you remember, I said Jesus had performed many miracles before his death, but it was when that after his death is when the miracle actually counts. 3 short days later, he came back to life. He rose from the grave and the stone was rolled away. Some people call it a miracle, some people call it prophecy, but I call it destiny. That's why she didn't fight back when she was introduced to her new son. Because she knew her goodbye was just a goodbye to a man of flesh. Because her son Jesus was a man of destiny. Thank you guys for listening. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day, a wonderful evening. God bless.